to neighboring countries. When journalists visited the border post in Lome yesterday, the metal gate, which were closed between the two countries for 2 years in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, were swung open. That notwithstanding, both sides of the frontier remained desolate with little human movement and commercial activities across the border. On the Ghana side, Assistant Commissioner of Immigration ACI in charge of the Aflao sector of the Ghana Immigration Service GIS said the number of human and vehicular traffic across the border would definitely increase in subsequent days. The National Petroleum Authority (NPA) has allayed fears of imminent shortage of fuel following reported shortage of petrol and diesel at some filling stations. The authorities said though some oil marketing companies recorded shortages at some of their outlets, there was no shortage of petroleum products in the country as speculated. It said as of Monday that the quantity of diesel available could feed the country for up to 4 weeks, while the quantity of petrol in the country's reserve could last for about 6 weeks. In an interview, Mr. Mohammed Abdul Kudus, head of communication NPA, said there was no need for panic. He said the authority had put adequate measures in place that could feed the country for up to 4 weeks. Kudus, head of communication NPA, said there was no need for panic. He said the authority had put adequate measures in place to ensure consistent supply of fuel to meet the demands of consumers. If you just join us, you're listening to Maritime and Port News. The Minister of Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwesi Amoakwata, has indicated the government's readiness to revamp ferry services at the Adam Marine Yard to provide better services to patrons and residents. The yard, located in the Adam East District of the Greater Accra region, was established in the 1970s to provide ferry services to communities downstream of the Akuse Dam and inhabitants in the lower Volta Basin. However, it has witnessed drastic decline in its services in the last couple of years. Now, fleets of ferries which provided services to many in these communities have reduced drastically, with currently only one ferry providing services, while the whole facility is in sorry state. Now, briefing the media after touring the facility on Monday, Mr. Mwakwata expressed disappointment at the level of deterioration of the facility. He said as part of its social responsibility of providing services, government had a duty to offer service to the people at the other side of the water, assuring that it would do all it could to revamp the operations of the yard to serve the people better. He spoke in Tree.
Once upon a time, not very now providing social responsibility to the people who are any idea, traders, farmers, very useful. Over the years, one is not too strong. Many happen. Now, who said, state here, the woman the entire facility, many NGO, it make new cabinet member. The book now bring it to the attention of the President of the Republic and the cabinet. Now, they're discussing pros and cons. My recommendation will be said the private sector continue up because it's a good facility and a government responsibility socially. So I will be after like I said.
You heard Kwesi Amoakwata. He is the Minister of Roads and Highways. If you just join us, you're listening to Maritime and Port News. Let's move to the international front. The 7-week COVID lockdown in Shanghai prompting carriers to blank a third of export sailing on the Asia-Europe and Trans-Pacific trade lanes is creating a lull in May import volumes through U.S. West Coast ports. Moreover, the coastal shift by shippers from the west coast of Eastport appears to be gaining fresh momentum ahead of the expiry of the U.S. West Coast labor agreement on July 1st, despite some optimism from both unions and employers. According to the latest statistics from the Port of Los Angeles Signal Data Platform, cargo expected to arrive on vessels this week is down 5% on the same week of last year, and volumes are predicted to see a 20% lag next week. Meanwhile, according to the data compiled on the top 10 U.S. port by New York-based consultancy Blue Alpha Capital, laden containers import volumes at Los Angeles last month was 459,918 TEUs, which was 6.2% below last year's all-time record for the month. Neighboring Long Beach saw its April volumes rise 9.2% year-on-year to 4,803 TEUs, but this was still not enough for the port to regain its second busiest port status from East Coast arrival New York, which recorded a huge 22.4% spike in import volumes in the month to 439,766 TEUs. Last month also saw significant import increases at other East Coast ports compared with declines at West Coast container terminals, according to the Blue Alpha Capital data. Now, finally, Russia has been relentless in its pursuit of Ukraine, but as the UN expressed its displeasure with Russia's decision to go to war, it also declared a total ban on all Russian import. Russia appears unconcerned about what would be considered one of the harshest economic consequences and sanction a country could face, owing to the fact that it has been working on these plans for quite some time, while most people thought Russia's war was rash, given how long the country has remained at war. Every move Russia has made appear to have been calculated and meticulously planned out over time. As a major player in the global economy, Russia reacted by prohibiting wheat and agriculture fertilizer export to all countries except its allies. Belarus add to the China's lockdown due to the coronavirus outbreak, as well as China's ban on food export due to food security and the volatility global situation that shows a sign of abating. The cherry on top is the Chinese supply chain bottlenecks, which should make you sit up and take notice. On this note, we wrap up this morning's edition of Maritime and Port News. Maritime and Port News is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Shippers Authority. They provide you with the best in oil shipping solutions. You can always contact them at the Shippers House. My name is Nanisi Boateng, producer. Kwikwa Bwachi.